Alright, hi everybody, it's Bonkai922. Before I get into this Fairy Tail chapter review, yes, it's continuing, don't worry, it's actually this chapter wasn't that horrible. So, yeah. Senator McStab, he was saying a few words. He made an interesting comment saying, "Oh, I was wrong," and to some extent, yeah, that is true. I already made a comment on this comment that he said about the whole thing in Medica Box with Zenkichi. It's true. It's just the whole point of it was the reason why I called him a dumbass and all this other shit was because of the fact that Medica was leaving. That and even though it's true, I personally think, yeah, you're right. Zenkichi is becoming his own person. That's good and all, but it's like, it's uncertain. That decision and Medica's decision, it's all these uncertainties. And plus the whole thing with Shirley. So that was the whole bit I was trying to say there. Okay, moving on. Fairy Tail. Chapter 323. Don't worry, this is not a rant. By the way, this is going to be the first Fairy Tail chapter review I do that King of Lightning does not do. And how I'm going to do these reviews from now on is I read them and I say to myself, to review or not to review? That is the question. So I determined myself if I should review it or not review it. This I'm going to review, but only the part that matters. So this chapter was called A Returning Shadow. And I'm starting off from page 9 because that's where shit gets real. You know, that's the beginning part of... That's really the beginning part of this chapter. The beginning part of this chapter was not the beginning. The beginning was bullshit. Just saying, we don't give a shit. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this chapter. Now, pretty much what happened was, we go back to Natsu and Lucy and the gang. And they're fighting the soldiers and executioners. And it says, those are my plants, aren't they cute? You know, and it's saying, oh, I'm going to be executed. And that guy says, yield while you can, criminals. And Natsu's saying, obviously, you're pissed off, I'm going to execute all of you. And just when they're about to attack Fairy Tail and, you know, attack Natsu and the gang and put them out of their misery, something shows up. A shadow. Ooh. I might add the same shadow that was with Rogue. So it shows up and attacks, just absorbs the guards, just sucks them in, and also sucks in the executioners as well. They don't know what's going on, and that's when we go to Gial. And Gial comes out with a revelation, and he realizes that Future Lucy was not the only person who came from the future. And he's like saying, you know, how he could have overlooked it and said that Future Lucy arrived on July 4th. In reality, it was midnight on the 3rd. And he's saying that there's no doubt about it, that the sensing of the past 7 years of his magic power of the eclipse, no doubt about it, it came from a human. And he says, if we are to assume that everything Future Lucy said is indeed true, then Future Lucy's arrival was in fact on the night of the 3rd. So that's basically meaning that is that the Lucy I saw on the evening of the 3rd is really, and then it cuts off. So there's another person coming here, and then we go back to Arcadius, the princess, and you know they're talking and so on and so forth. And Princess basically telling Arcadius, if everything this person told me is true, we need to enact the second phase of the Eclipse plan. And we're going to basically, we're not going to kill Zeref, we're going to, you know, activate the gateway. The cannon kind of thing. And then that's pretty much the story. And then Arcadius brings out his sword and says, "Oh, a knight should never doubt the words of his monarch. When your words bear fruit, I shall relinquish my life." And saying that I brought great shame onto you, I'm prepared to pay that transgression with my life. And that's when he's talking about future Lucy and how she was not wiser about the Eclipse 2 plan, and she shed tears as she lamented the impending doom. She did not know how to remedy the situation. And the princess and Arcadius are talking about two different people. On this page, which I think is page 18, she's basically, that can't be, that person made it abundantly clear to me what needed to be done. And he says, are you telling me that person from the future is lying? I can't think anything that she'd gained by deceiving her comrades. And then the princess says, the person who traveled back in time to give me that advice, was a man. And then JL's basically saying, there's another person. There is another person here who came from the future. Dun, 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 dun! I almost find it kind of really strange that King of Lightning is done, and next week we get this. Of course, this chapter is probably going to get a 3.5. I'm giving this a 3.5. I'm not going ham on this one. And I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just going to give it a 3.5. Well, we'll say 3. And we'll see where it goes. Now, what ended on happening was, you know, the shadows vanished, the soldiers vanished from the shadows, and they realized that someone was here. And when you first see this guy, half of his face looks like Rogue from Sabretooth. That's what was weird. Half of his face looks like Rogue. The other half looks something different. And then not just saying, who the hell are you? And then Jiao is telling Altair and Meredy that Lucy came from the future to save us. So then what are the motives of the second individual? And he's like saying the shadows are fading out to the past, or perhaps the future, or perhaps the hearts of all the people. Now this sure brings back some memories, fond memories. Natsu Dragneel. I came from the future. I am Rogue. And it says, to be continued in chapter 324, the person who closes the door, a person covered in shadows, just what does he bring from a hopeless future? Now, this person could be Rogue. The actual Rogue. Now, you're probably thinking, like, what do you mean? Well, I know he looks weird. Like, half of his face is black, and the other half hair is white. And you're like, I don't know. But yeah, it seems that's what I feel. If he says his name is Rogue, his name is Rogue. From the future. I think what happened, I don't want to say he merged with, like, Sting or anything, but his powers grew, and he just became like the way he is now. Like, the right half of his hair is black. And the other half is white. And, you know, you can see the half that's black is like, you know, covering his face. And the other half is white, and it's like long hair. That's white. Seemingly. So, it begs a few questions, like, what the fuck is he there for? Is he there to destroy the world? Is he there to... You know, if Future Lucy came here to prevent this from happening, what did he come there for? To destroy it? Make sure it gets destroyed? Because here's the thing. 2 people from the future came. From, I believe, this time. Period. After the events of whatever that goes down. So, it could mean whatever this guy is going to say, Rogue. This is future Rogue. Whatever he's stating is big news. Huge news. Huge. Almost like, you know, Blockbuster, in a way. News. So, you gotta figure. It has something to do with this eclipse. And other things as well. Now, I keep getting wrong for things. There's Nostradamus. I gotta do that later. But yeah, that's pretty much the story. I personally am giving this a low rating. I want to state something about the Medica Box chapter. I should actually give it a 3.5. Yeah, for certain things. But anyway. As far as next week is concerned, this is when shit's going to get real. This is what we've been waiting for. Exactly this. Fuck the tournament. I wanted this eclipse plan. I wanted to see what was going to go down. Now, like I said, it's going to be a... Read it. And I say, to review or not to review? Shakespearean actor. That is the question. So, but overall, I like this chapter. Giving it a 3.5, 3, because, and I'm getting shitloads of emails and invites and other shit. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to say, for now, 3, 3.5, because of last week's bullshit. It was good. A whole lot better than the last 2 weeks. Jesus. But we have to see what this rogue, this future rogue is going to state, because, I mean, he looks nothing like the rogue we see now. Maybe he merged with somebody. Who knows? We have to wait and see. But I like where this is going. Hopefully something happens that changes the face of this series. That's all I can hope for right now. If not, and we get a friendship bullshit thing happening, no. No. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys. This has been Bonkon 922. It was an okay chapter. Okay chapter. The Kenichi chapter blew. Oh, by the way, the Kenichi chapter was better than Medica Box and Fairy Tail. Yeah, better. So yeah, look forward to that. Anyway, this has been Bonkon 922. I'll see you guys later. Fairy Tail. Alright. It was alright. It was alright. But now the question remains, who is this rogue person? If he's from the future, you know? Oh, by the thumbnail's going to be Arcardius, because, you know, I like Arcardius. So, yeah. It's been Bonkon 922. I'll see you guys later. The shadows are looming. They're coming for you.